as a challenge. I would say it's an opportunity that's available today. Be a finance person and we call cost and management accountant. We change the name, CMA, everything, but we focus more on the C side. The M side, let's move on. And that's where the AI will help, because some of the things what we do as a cost, data collation, everything can be done by the machine. I just want to rush because the paucity of time. What are the skill sets? So it's nothing new. Everybody knows what we have to do. Only thing is we don't do that, right? I've been talking on leadership and other stuff, but everybody knows what we have to do. The moment we leave this room, we forget everything. So that's where even when you do a course or something, how you implement in your day-to-day, or if you have a passion, say I have a passion to do something and you do it, but if you don't continue, then it's not a passion, it's a wish list. So don't waste time on wish list, focus on your passion. If you're really serious about what to do on the thing, as he was mentioning, there are certifications there. If you are bothered about taking certification, go to LinkedIn. There are so many free courses for an hour, 40 minutes. What is AI, what is ML? Take those things and then see whether it fits in your scheme of things. If not, leave it, right? Don't bother too much and the stress level will go up. And then financial modeling. I see when I recruit people, CMAs, they don't, because you come with you have got a certification, you have learned something, you cleared an exam, but when you want to do, you have to skill yourself using various tools, the modelings and all when you are getting into the financial roles. Because some of the routine things are being done by the RPAs and the MLs. Strategy. When we are talking about AI ML, it's not the deployment. We need to know where to deploy the strategy. For example, when you upskill yourself from a strategic point, when you put something and arrive at some data and get an information, what you make it. For example, sales strategy. We need to get involved in that. We always know what's the tagline of the CMA Institute, but how many of us do that? So strategy, get into that level of strategy with the organization where you are working, or if you are a consultant, you are more than that, because you can talk on any of the operations in the organization. This is something people think the high level of automation, but this should be the basic one, which ML and AI can do it, you need not do it. And I get at 8 o'clock a push from my ERP, what is my daily expenditure, what is the sales for the region, what is the expenditure, what is the net profit margin. 2 minutes, that's it. And if I see, and there is a column which says, what is the movement from yesterday to today? Finished. I don't need to do anything unless I wait for somebody to come and say, Gopal, I want this approval, can you do this, can you do that? Most of the time, outside the organization, talk on technology, but in office, we talk IFRS, Ind AS, and all those stuff regularly. Analytic, be analytic, and when you're doing, this is what I was talking to some of the chapter members, when you're doing the cost audit report, include diagrams and all those stuff, and give some analytic about what you understood from that. One is the complaints, and second, you can give the management a report, what they can do better. Usage of technology. You ask me what, I don't use any technology. Start with Excel. Don't use Excel as a document. Use Excel as a database. Move on, Tableau is there, Power BI, there are so many tools which are available to do the data analytics because you work day in, day out with the data. Oops. And awareness. As he mentioned, right, keep aware what's happening. ChatGPT. When he asked, how many of you use ChatGPT, right? I didn't lift my hand because I don't want to. The thing is, if I need, I'll go. Otherwise, I'll seek someone who has done this one. And do the leadership role. Unless you feel you are a leader, you can never do that. And leadership is not a position. It's something that people perceive you as a leader. When someone looks up to you, that's where you feel that you have become a leader. And being a cost and management accountant, we should be looked at as a finance leader, whatever may be the role, whether you are an employed or you are a consultant, whatever may be the role, you should be looked at as a leader, the go-to person. And this is famous, but those who are on the last row can't read it. You can't do today's job with yesterday's technique and expect to be in the business tomorrow, right? So you need to change, and the change has to come from within. I didn't say that, you know who said that. Natural versus artificial. This came up something in the morning with one of a person sitting here. Today he said, I lost the habit of writing, even typing. Whenever I need, I just go to ChatGPT, get it, and then done it. So there are people who says, like my friend Sri was mentioning, right? He just Googled what is a challenge. So most of the time we end up looking at the first one which comes. Have you ever noticed in the Google when you say first, when you look for some television or whatever you want to buy, the first three will be the sponsored one. And we always go with whatever we see first. So go below and then use your natural intelligence to pick out what, because if I blabber something and if it comes first, then you will take it. So ChatGPT is a boon, but if you don't use it and you fully rely on that, it becomes a bane. So you need to balance between the two, use it wisely, use your intellectual, that's where we get into the professionalism. Should I adopt the technology? I am good in finance, do I need to do? Yes, it's compulsory today. It's machine learning and AI you need to learn, because that's what, I made it a different one, but as after yesterday's Sridhar's presentation that AI, I have to change it, and I change it in the morning, this one. And it's compulsory. It's up to you whether you want to take it or not. You need to follow that one. And it's not meaning like you need to understand and do a course in Python. How many of you use Excel? Okay, how many of you don't use Excel? Right, you. How many of you know the architecture of Excel? 1, 2. The architecture behind how it works, how the coding. Good. So out of them, only 3 are there. You need not know how the Excel works. You need to know how to use it. Right? You don't need to know the technology beyond Honda and Toyota. But you should know how to drive the car. So that's where we need to get the expertise. This is from today's newspaper. I'm not going to take you through. It's a government one. You can read it by yourself. How government is also focusing on the job market and how the labor market will get impacted because of AI. The big question whenever I talk on AI ML is in the Q&A, this is the question, that's why I want to put it, whether my job will go. 100% your job will not go if you upskill yourself. If you don't upskill, definitely it will go. It will not go, it will be taken by somebody. You will be only letting it go. It's not somebody grabbing from you. So I just open it for Q&A, which I want more on this one rather than be a monologue. I don't know how much time we have. So what we want to do is maybe you want to do a fireside chat. We normally do it in the CFO forums. Take a cup of coffee and start questioning each other. It's not a panel, and believe me and Sri know each other very well, but I didn't see his PPT till he reached this place, and he didn't see my PPT. So it's all independent, and we never bothered who's going to do first and all. I thought when he said first I was to do, but I saw the logic, he explaining what is AI, and then I talking of what we need to do. I said, that's why I said Sri can go first. So want to take a Q&A or you want to ask questions, that's what we planned first. And we don't know what questions to ask also, and I don't even know what he is going to ask.
Then I think the audience will jump in with their thoughts as well. So one of the fundamental things which kind of I was processing when you were out there discussing is being from a technology industry itself, right? Being from a company which operates so much deeply into it. What's the tech industry perspective that you would like to share from what's happening in the AI ML world?
Of the tech industry, because tech industry is too big and it goes into the supply chain, everything is now automated. And as I was mentioning, I just get a push from the ERP, what is the daily status of my P&L. So there's nothing, it just machine pushes. It just pulls the data and pushes to you. When we did the ATM, right, in 99, we did that IVR, interactive voice response, and that company I was the head of finance. So they said even automating was like its mission says, if you press one, it goes to that and then get the numbers. Later on, ICICI and HDFC where we are doing it, and they had a heavy presence in the western side. So they said if Gopal presses every time Kannada, the fourth time it will ask, need not go through, press 9 for this and 2 for this and all. Do you want to continue with the Kannada? I said, okay. Then it goes to the next level. Today, if you see any ATM, if you set a favorite, I want to draw 10,000 rupees, it says, you want to draw, press it, pin, you get the money. So it saves time. So AIML saves your time. It never takes your job. Unless you don't take your job seriously, it will take away your job. So somewhere where we have to put our natural intelligence and the subjective matters. Suppose the machine can take something and give you a situation, but in the financial decision, machine can give you the one, but ultimately you have to take the decision. But some of the things, automation, people get confused with the RPA and AIML. Repetitive process you can just automate, which is there for long. Some of the things, suppose you submit expense report. Every month I submit my internet bill, say 1,500 rupees. Fourth month, it need not go to my manager. And next time the entire company will say, why the manager has to approve and waste the time. You scan, today you just scan in the mobile, open the app, scan and then submit. Next day it get paid. Manager even doesn't know that it goes to them. Because no need for that, because they know the machine will learn the pattern. Gopal claims, okay, between 1,000 to 1,200 every month. Suddenly if there's 1,600 something goes beyond the limit, it may go to my manager for an information, not for approval. The manager can say, okay, hang on, pull that, withdraw that one. So this is where some of the smallest thing I'm talking about. But if you look at AIML can sit on top of the database and it can pull whatever data that you want and then give it to you in an informed manner, and then where you can take the decision. I can go on, but this is something from a finance side, and how it helps is, as I mentioned, the reports, the whatever we get, the month-end close review process was cut down. When I joined, it was like 5 days we used to do close, but today we close 1 day. And we are the first one to publish in the S&P and also in the New York Stock Exchange. NASDAQ, we are the first one to publish. We publish on the 8th calendar day of the month, the results, provided it's not a weekend. So that's a kind of efficiency that we want to bring in. People may ask, why do you want to cut short the time? Why can't you take 20 days to publish? I can spend time on seeing the next 2 months full rather than spending time on the past.
Right.
Maybe I want to ask you a question. You mentioned about the certifications, right? So what people should start with? Certifications and all those things available free. But is there something that, suppose they are brand new, they don't know what is AIML, where they can start?
See, honestly, thankfully, the jobs are still there. Now, on a very serious note, I kind of tried to cover very nicely. The lines are getting blurred. That you will typically see more of finance guys becoming, I would say, more of the technical consultant kind of thing, moving on to the tech side. Similarly, you have engineers coming on the data side. To the folks who are already there, I got a degree, I got some X years of experience, I'm at a certain stage of life and career. It purely depends on what's the path that you need to take. If you need to take a path, for example, we have seen a lot of FP&A kind of jobs coming up, wherein there is an absolute need to be tech enabled. In the sense, you need to know your Power BI, Python side of it, right? So to that question as to what exactly is the skill that you need to know, it depends on what kind of role are you doing. And be in tune with your business, be in tune with the industry, and of course be in tune with your own company to understand what is that technological path that particular institution is taking. Also, honestly, it's pretty democratized path. It's not that that everyone is going, for example, you have heard enough about the DeepSeek, that but you start looking at the DeepSeek adoption. I think after the hype, the reality is there were many questions, right down to one very simple question which came as to, you can download, but you need to have a Chinese phone number. Now, where do we go here? No, so sometimes it's probably double clicking, triple clicking is where you will probably get the right answer. There isn't one size fits all answer to it. To each individual, some of these basic parameters that you need to look at, I repeat, what is your core skill? I kind of gave the example of, if you're in FP&A, you need to know a few of those core IT skills. Or if you're on the core costing side, try to align with the company, the industry, and that tech path it is taking. I hope that answer.
Let me also jump into this conversation. Why you two people alone should take
No,
away
we want to set the context.
also do that. Let me also share that role along with you. See, today most of there are two questions from my side on behalf of them. Whenever the application examples are being given, it's always coming from a transaction and operation side, whether it is even ERP, analytics, or even for that matter AI. I see very little use examples, use case studies at a strategic level. Is there any source available which has documented at a strategic level how AI has been deployed? That is question number one. Question number two is, if there is any agency globally or in India which documents case studies of AI deployment, wherein institute can join as a stakeholder or as a networking partner, I request both of you to suggest, because institute leaders are there with us today, they can become a networking partner or a stakeholder. Ensure that CMA related case studies are documented at these three levels: transaction, operation, and strategic level, and it becomes a huge resources of a value addition to all those future generations who want to enter this line. These are the two questions.
You want me to say? But let me give my perspective on strategy. Strategy, at best, is abstract for most of the companies. Believe me, I had the opportunity of being in IBM, where I used to work a couple of close to 1.5 decades ago, wherein I was part of an annual planning session done at IBM, and we were in a room full of execs and the CEO of the company in India, discussing about what's the strategy. So strategy sometimes can be a zero-based budget. Also, it could be there's already a budget and how do you tweak it. So taking the same parallels on the tech side, honestly, there isn't any particular tech that can address strategy. Strategy stems from the word strategy itself is typically is a response to a market action. It comes from the military parlance and all of that. Given that each industry company has its own, I would say, reaction to how to kind of look at it. I haven't seen any particular.
So that means there is a huge opportunity for the CMA and as well as the institute to come up with some some knowledge base at a strategic level, which can be a huge value addition.
Absolutely. A quick reaction to the second one in terms of where exactly does this repository of knowledge reside today, and can we kind of tie with them? A difficult answer. We probably need to. I can't unfortunately answer it quickly on this forum at this juncture. But LinkedIn, I feel, is one of the most pragmatic places to look for data of the order what you're looking today. And LinkedIn apparently has now become a place where most of the professional participants are there, either trying to discover or to even distribute. So maybe that will be a good starting point to look at. And in fact, I have already, many of the occasions in my interactions with the institute, I have told that I don't know how many folks are there on LinkedIn. Maybe a count of people on LinkedIn. Okay, I would ideally would want this number to be 100% number, right? Still probably we are at around 60%. So how much of content on LinkedIn has gone about this event, for example? Maybe there are some other institutes who probably would even do a live stream on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, to your question, is probably the number one place where we can start, and there are knowledge forums within LinkedIn who could be a good starting point to connect. Thank you.
Okay. Just to answer the question for a long time, right? And the strategy is maximum is 1 hour. Within the race, you need to take the strategy. Do I need to change my tire? Do I change to a mild or it's a hard tire? When I to take the pit stop, where I have to apply my, okay, let me not go too technical into the one. So the driver has to see, I have to overtake the person who is ahead of me, and strategy has to be done, and it goes with big data. What is my headwind? Where is my next person? And it all been fed into a system and give it in a concise manner to the driver to say, guy, just step on the gas. Boom. He has to do it. So this is where when you talk about strategy, there is a long-term strategy which a company can have, but the quickest one I can think of is the sailing, and then our Formula 1, which our company is also having that one. So one is that one. We have the Red Bull one, Mark Verstappen, and all the people, they use the data so precisely to guide the person to take an informed decision to see how they can do. And you can see, if you watch that one, if you not watched, just see in YouTube, because the person will keep in touch with the team behind the Formula 1 team. So that's a kind of AI ML usage in terms of strategy, which I can't think of any other thing, which is you have to take the strategy within 1 hour, and within 1 hour you have to do 100 times strategy one. That's a real-time strategy which I can think. Thank you.
Please.
It's a time for a question hour session from any of the audience, please.
Is the employer looking for the young talent when you hire? And also I would add on, like, how are the other countries looking the consultants from India to deal with the AI, whether they are using AI in their consultancy, if you can add on.
I think, honestly, hiring decisions are made significantly on an operational sense, in very few cases from a strategic sense. So operationally, it is still about the definition of the role, right? You have a certain role and you have a talent to fill the role. We typically look at in only two boxes. One is the job description. You got to get a job done, and you have a skill fitment, education, experience, so on and so forth. Based on the changes and shift in the job description, the skill will change alongside. To be very honest with you, we don't see a very significant change in the job description of many of the things. You're still, from a finance roles point of view, we are still doing an accounting, operations, compliance, reporting, the four broad boxes for us to play in finance. Within that, the reaction is more in terms of what's the other participant asking you. For example, the adoption of the technology within each of the area. For example, let's take the example of an operations in the form of an AR or AP function. If you are a company who talks to another organization which is on high-end tech, and they are asking you to adopt, you will start adopting the same. Maybe sometimes driven by association, sometimes driven by competition, various of those. There, you start tweaking the job description, right? We still don't see it as a very significant change, but it is slowly, it's in the air for sure, wherein, especially as I will keep repeating that, especially around high-end analytics, FP&A kind of roles, there is very clearly a pathway which has been created where the ask is for not just someone who did high-end FP&A, but if you have done FP&A, have you done anything on Python? Have you used Power BI? If yes, you will be a chosen candidate. I think those kind of slow changes is what we are seeing. I hope that answers. Thanks.
I think we can have.
Sir.
When I was in 5th year old, I started learning Kannada Lipi. It is called Kannada Varnamala. When I was in 5th standard, I started learning how to write English alphabet. When like that, Hindi at the 7th standard. My question is whether my grandchildren need to learn how to write lipis, or it is still enough they understand recognize the lipi. And what is the literate under AI regime?
Your name and telephone. Today, do you know? I don't even know my wife's number. If my battery is gone, I don't know how to call her also. So, so whether the grandchildren, they need to study that subject itself. We don't know. That now that becomes an optional, extracurricular, maybe the language. Now the communication will be on the mission language than our mother tongue. Everybody raised the hand. Once Mr. TCA was asking, what is the expansion of ChatGPT? Nobody knew. So things are going, and tomorrow maybe that political and all those stuffs will be there, read and write. Tomorrow I don't think that you need to, because most of the time when I'm stuck in the traffic, every day, I just open my email, press the speaker and dictate. And then just press send. Even a long mail, I just dictate. Only thing you have to have clear pronunciation, that's it. So things are becoming, and that's what I said. Today we don't know how to write also. How many of us can write in Kannada, the original one?
No, we can write.
Few.
No, we can write. But see, AI has been in place for over 3 decades or over. Because earlier, then also there were calculators. The output is a result of AI only. Now, as all of us know, whatever is not used for a long time, it will become redundant. And the God may stop creating such things. Now, 1 in million or 1 in 10 million intelligent person creates some artificial brain, artificial intelligence. And the rest of the million or 10 million are using that. So, nowadays, to make the things easy, to make or to feel their work is easy, many people don't want to use their brain. Yeah. Instead, they want to use the brain created by somebody else, so that for the next generation people, whether that brain will be required or not. Now over the last 4 or 5 years, we have been talking only about artificial AI. Not that it was not there earlier, it was there. But every 5 years, something is changing, and there is a mass history about that. Now everybody is talking about AI. But how many are really using it? And though we are using some AI, how many people know that that is the result of AI? There is a situation. So that what I am asking is, what happens to the human brain of the next generation?
Brain itself. Maybe I'm sure with Trump's administration back in the next 4 years, you will see something happening for sure. To that question.
This is a neuro GPT may come.
So ladies and gentlemen, we have reached to the final
Just one question.
part of this technical.
With AI and agentics, they are telling that 2025 is going to be the year of agentics. So in terms of org structure, I am told that there is going to be substantial change because agents are going to take over certain areas of work. So how do you perceive the organization structure changing with the advent of agentics?
Yeah, maybe it takes a lot of time to explain that. There is a McKinsey report, maybe I can share it with them, how the co-worker becomes, AI becomes your co-worker. So it's there, and the study says you are only going to give it to them, but on a thing, the study says I think 37% can be with the invisible co-worker. That's why I put that the robo and the person sitting and working together. So it's going to happen. Some of the stuff will be done by them. What we can do, that we need to upskill and do. That's what the main topic is of. But it's going to happen. It's not. I'm not going to say it will not happen. It's going to happen, and it's there. The report was 2 years back. I think it was 2019 because I presented in Malaysia 2019 when I came back for the.
Hello, from both the conversation. Number one, I have two key takeaways from both the sessions. One, you have reduced the stress level of compelling ourselves in running into the race. Rather, you have given that comfort and flexibility of mindset that we have to align but take your own pace to do that. That is the best key takeaway that I can say. And coming to your side, once that mindset is prepared, I wanted to do AI, but I was desperate to do it. I didn't know where to start. I was kind of influenced by your conversation first, and I'm settled. Okay, I need not rush, but I need to action. That's it. Coming to your session, I'm super impressed with the way you started the session or throughout the session. It was not a regular session. It was very catchy, very attractive, and very much drawn to it. So it was wonderful in that way. Yes, it was informative. You gave me one advice of starting with Power BI or Python. I will experiment on Power BI. This is what my heart says as of now. I'll investigate more in it. Another response to the question, there is no replacement for the younger generation.
I request the delegates to keep short in their questions,
Yes,
please.
yes, no question. It's a... Please spare 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Coming back to the open question, which has to be, since it's a discussion, I want to be part of this discussion. Coming to that question of what we should give to my kid or whatever, we have to learn the technology, but we should not forego our culture or whatever. So we have to take both hand in hand. This is what I will train my son, who is 3.5 years. So we need to make sure they fit in the current trend. They have to learn as well as they have to learn the culture. So it has to be balanced is my answer.
You may get an answer. I have never used ChatGPT.
I have been given a phone by one of the gentlemen here to just maybe put a concluding content on some of the human and tech side of the thing. So I'll probably hopefully finish in 15 seconds. So what's the fundamental difference between tech and the human race? Will human brains evolve or not required and chip will do? I think thanks for the content. I'll just do the fact of reading out. That's it. It says, even though AI and technology are advancing rapidly, and by the way, this is a ChatGPT answer, unique qualities of human, please listen to these words: creativity, intuition, emotional intelligence, and I think the most important word next, ethical decision making. I think these are the ones which are fundamentally going to be irreplaceable from the point of view of human intervention. Thank you.